Angie, and welcome to Yoga with Angie. Sorry for the squinting, but it's a very sunny afternoon in this beautiful state of Colorado. I'm in a beautiful little mountain getaway, and so you see the beautiful scenery behind me. But as a Colorado resident, we spend a lot of time hiking and biking, and so finding a practice to help open up the hips, nice and gentle practice for you today. Also, if you're not doing those types of activities, even if you're sitting for long periods of time, finding a practice that can gently open up the hips is always something good to do on a daily basis. So grab your mat and get into something cozy, and let's hit the mat for our practice today. To start our practice today, we're going to start on our backs, and I'm using a block as a prop today, so feel free to use one as well. You're going to bring your heels together, feet wide. Bring your shoulders down and back on your mat. And just finding that resting position, letting the knees fall out to the side, heels are together, bringing those toes together, letting those hips sink into your mat, placing the small of your back flat on the mat as you drive your tailbone into your mat. Continue to draw those shoulder blades down and back on your mat. And let's just start with some simple breathing. Taking a deep breath in through the nose, and as you exhale out through the mouth, let's take one more deep breath in through the nose, and exhale through the mouth. Continuing that breath. As you draw that breath, visualizing that breath coming all the way up from the base of your spine, coming in, filling up those lungs, coming in through your chest and your throat, holding at the top, sealing the lips, and then drawing that breath all the way back down and through the base of the spine. And since today's practice, we're focusing on the hips, each breath, drawing that breath to those areas of tightness. So could be right in the hip flexors here. It could be in the hip abductors, wherever that space may be, drawing that breath into those areas of tenderness or soreness or tightness. We tend to hold a lot of emotion and stress in our hips. And so just allowing ourselves a minute here, pausing as we breathe into those areas of tightness. Continuing with the breath as we let that breath flow into those areas, easing over those areas of tenderness and soreness, and allowing the body just sink into your mat. You can either bring one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart, or just place both palms on your inner thighs or right on your hips, whatever feels most comfortable. And we're going to start by just taking a few breaths here. Continue those deep breaths in through the nose. And exhale, drawing that breath all the way back down into the throat, into the chest, into the base of the spine. And next breath, slowly start to take those knees back in towards one another. And take that right knee into the chest. Give it a nice big tug into the chest. Maybe circle out that ankle. And then take that right knee with the right hand and start with some knee circles, opening up those hips, the inner thigh, as you take large circles away from the midline of the body. And then reverse it. Take it all the way back and in, nice big circles. And then pausing that right knee into the chest, extending that left leg long, and taking that right heel and bringing it right on top, the top of that left thigh, or right into the inside of the thigh. If it's too much here, what we're doing is a lying lotus. So that heel is right on top of that left thigh, or right on that left hip. If it's too much here, you can always take that right heel and just place it gently the inside of that left inner thigh. Otherwise, continue to take that left heel And you can keep the hand on the heel or on your foot and continue with your breath as you draw that left knee down in towards the mat. Keeping the small of the back flat on your mat, shoulders down and back. Continuing with that breath, deep breath in and out. If you want to take your arms out into a goalpost arm, so both arms at 90-degree bends at the elbow. Continue to draw those shoulder blades down and back, opening up the heart, the hips, the inner thighs. Continuing with a deep breath in through the nose and out. One more deep breath in and exhale. Next breath, take that left foot flat on your mat and take that right ankle, cross it over the left knee. Interlace your fingers and draw that left knee in towards your chest. As you press away into that right thigh with your right elbow, keep both feet flexed. Both legs are actively engaged. And as you exhale, draw that left knee a little bit closer into your chest. And start to feel the right glute and that right hip flexor start to open up as you press into that right thigh. Deep breath in and exhale. So this is a lying figure 4. You can take this standing, seated, however you prefer. This is a great place to start with hip openers. One more deep breath in here. And when you're ready, gently place that left foot back down on your mat. Right leg crosses over the left. And then gently bring both knees into your chest and tug those knees super tight into your chest. And if you can here, I love doing this, taking the tops of the feet, bringing those heels into your glutes, and kind of just letting those knees fall away from the body. Maybe even placing those heels or those feet onto your mat. You're going to feel the right side, right hip abductor start to open up. Deep breath in and exhale. Especially if you're feeling those areas of tightness, focusing on that breath and just allowing those knees to fall to a point that feels good for your body. So each one of you is going to look different. Deep breath in and exhale. One more breath here. And go ahead and release those hands and keep those the right leg crossed over the left and let those knees fall over to the left side of your body in that supine twist as you draw your left and right shoulder onto your mat, finding that deep twist here. And if you want to take that left palm to guide those knees down, taking that deep supine twist here, deep breath in and exhale. One more deep breath in and exhale. You want to take this for a breath longer, you can. Otherwise, gently bring those knees back into center and line those heels up right underneath your glutes. So you want to make sure you bring your shoulders flat down on your mat. We're going to set up for a bridge pose. So bring your palms flat on your mat, draw your shoulder blades down and back, press those feet into the mat, and draw down through the center of those heels as you squeeze the glutes and inner thighs and drive your hips high. So if you want to take those feet and bring them in a little bit closer in towards your glutes, if you want to interlace your fingers underneath that seat, that'll allow you to take those shoulder blades a little bit deeper down into your mat. Deep breath in, press down into those heels, squeeze the glutes and inner thighs, and press those hips high. Deep breath in and exhale. Let's take a few more deep breaths in here. Each inhale, pressing into those heels and pushing those hips high, squeezing those glutes and inner thighs as you lift those hips high. One more deep breath here. And as you exhale, bring your palms down to the side. Let your hips fall onto your mat nice and slow. And bring those knees nice and tight into your chest. Give yourself a big hug. And then working through the left side. Now that I can partly see here, the sun has gone behind the clouds. Taking that right foot flat on your mat, and with your left hand, taking that left knee, small circles away from the midline of the body. Open up the left hip, left inner thigh, and then maybe reversing those circles, taking them super deep all the way back and around. Nice big circles. And when you're ready, extending that right leg long, taking that left heel with your palms, and then taking that left heel driving it into the right thigh. Or like we did before, inside of the right inner thigh. And then when you're ready and you have that heel situated on your thigh, bringing those elbows out into goalpost arms, drive the shoulder blades down, drive that belly button into the base of the spine, flat back, deep breath in. And as you exhale, drive that left knee down in towards your mat. Finding that space, opening up those hip flexors. Visualizing that space, creating the openness, freeing those hips. Deep breath in and exhale. Each exhale, you want to try to drive that left knee down a little bit closer into your mat. One more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly drawing that right foot back flat on your mat. Left ankle crosses over the right knee. Interlace your fingers. Keep both feet nice and flexed and bring that right knee into your chest. As you exhale, drive that right knee into your chest a little bit deeper. Maybe rolling side to side here. I love doing this here. Makes me feel free and happy. So continue to drive that left knee away with your left elbow. Keep your feet nice and flexed. Deep breath in. And exhale. Let's take one more breath here. Enjoying that feeling of that left hip flexor and glute opening. And then when you're ready, crossing that left leg completely over the right, interlacing your fingers over those knees and drawing those knees into your chest, this time feeling the top of the left hip flexor. And then when you're ready, taking both palms to the tops of the feet and drawing those heels into your hips. Definitely feeling one side is tighter than the other. And let those knees just kind of fall away from the body. You can bring those feet onto your mat as you let those knees fall away, feeling that left hip open as you draw those knees away. Again, if this is too much, you can always just keep it here. So just giving you options here so you can vary your postures. And even if, as you continue through this practice, if you've done this video a couple of times, just allows you to advance it and change it up a little bit. Let's take one more breath here. And next inhale, bring those knees back into the chest and let both those knees fall over to the right side of the body as you bring your arms out wide, taking a supine twist on the left side. Maybe taking that right palm to those knees, driving that left shoulder into your mat, taking that deep twist as you let those knees fall over to the right side of your body. Deep breath in. Each exhale, feeling that deep twist, maybe allowing those knees to fall a little bit further over to the right side. Continuing to draw that left shoulder into the mat. And next inhale, bring those knees back into center. Uncross those legs and bring those knees into your chest. And we're going to slowly start to roll our way up into a seated position. So this is where the block's going to come in really handy. So we're going to take a straddle position. So you're going to take your feet wide. You can take it mat width or a little bit wider, depending on your preference. This takes a lot of time and practice to get a little bit wider. Each time you'll be able to grow a little bit deeper. So I love the block here because I'm going to rest my head on it eventually. So you want to bring it about to knee distance, or maybe take 2 blocks. Sometimes in class we'll have students use 2 blocks. So keep your feet nice and flexed, draw those kneecaps down. As you inhale, drive your chest forward, drive the pelvis forward, and drive those sit bones back. So as you inhale, deep breath in, find the length in the spine, feel that spine grow tall, and as you exhale, drive your chest forward, keeping those feet super flexed. So maybe now it's just bringing the palms to the mat. Again, this takes a lot of time and breath, so you want to just allow your body to fall naturally. Each inhale, feeling that pelvis drive forward, and then feeling those sit bones drive back. Inhale, bring it forward, exhale, fall forward. And again, there's no destination here. So just finding what works for you, especially if you have tight hip flexors. This takes a lot of time and energy to continue to drive your chest forward and finding that space that works for you. Each inhale, drive your chest forward, feel that pelvis fall forward, and then exhale, let yourself fall a little bit deeper. So each inhale, using that breath to open up, drive the pelvis forward, drive those sit bones back, feeling the length right in between those inner thighs. And then when you're ready, just start to round out the back and letting yourself fold forward. Deep breath in and exhale. And just adjusting the block to what feels good to you. Maybe you can go all the way forward and touch your toes, whatever works for you. Each breath, using that breath to your advantage. Remembering that yoga is a journey, it's not a destination. So each time we come to our mat, we just release and allow ourselves to just submit to the practice. Let it take us where it needs to go. Sometimes we may be tighter than others, and that's totally fine. Taking time with the practice and allowing ourselves and our body just to relax and release with each breath. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Relax into the shoulders, the neck, the back. Keeping those feet flexed, legs actively engaged. And when you're ready, slowly start to walk those palms back up. Letting your spine grow tall once again. And then taking that right heel right into your pelvis. Taking that right palm just behind your glutes or your right hip. So as we inhale, we're going to press down into the right palm, press that right knee into your mat, lift the hips high. So if this is too much on your knees, you just take it as far as you need to. So you can even just drive your chest forward and start to lift those hips. But as you're able to, drive those hips forward, squeeze the glutes, lift those hips high, press that right knee into the mat. Left heel, left toe comes flat on your mat. Reach and extend the arms to the sky. Feeling that right hip open as you reach and extend that left arm to the sky, pressing down to that right palm. Squeeze the glutes, 1 more breath here. And exhale, release. Nice and slow. Feels so good. So switching sides here, right leg extends, left heel comes in towards the pelvis, taking that left palm just behind the hips. Same thing here, maybe one side is a little bit more open than the other. Press down through that left palm, start to squeeze the glutes and lift those hips high, reach and extend that right out to the sky. Deep breath in, reach, and as you exhale, squeeze those glutes, press those hips forward. One more breath here. Feels so good. Let's take one more inverted pose here. So bring those palms right behind the hips. So we're going to take a reverse plank here. So palms come right behind the hips, press down into the palms and the fingertips. And same concept here, squeeze the glutes, lift the hips high. You can let your head fall, or if it's too much here, press down through those palms, squeeze the glutes, lift the hips high, deep breath in, and exhale. One more deep breath in, and exhale, slowly release those hips. And let's meet in a tabletop position. So come into a tabletop with your hips stacked over your knees, palms directly underneath your shoulders. Let's take some cat-cows here. Drop the belly, draw the chin and chest forward. Exhale, round it out. This is just a great little stretch in between here. This isn't necessarily a hip opener, but this just allows us some variation. Stretching out the spine and the low back. Continue as you inhale, press down to the palms, drop the belly, lift the chin and chest forward. Two more here. And bringing it back into a tabletop position. I love this, hip drops here. So if you're feeling super, super tight in your hip abductors, let those hips fall super deep to each side. And then as you drop your left hip, walk those palms over to the right side and feel that left hip flexor open. Let your head fall. Kind of like you're doing a modified downward dog. And you can continue here side to side. Walk your palms through, center, reach them over to the left side as you drop those hips over to the right. This is also a great neck and shoulder and back opener. Or you can just continue to drop those hips right to left. Let's take those knees wide, bring those toes together, sit back into your heels, child's pose. And let your head fall heavy. Maybe just take your forehead, take it side to side, right to left. Give yourself one more deep breath in here. And when you're ready, slowly rising back up into that tabletop position. We're going to curl our toes under here, come into a downward dog as we lift those hips high, press down into those palms, let the head fall between the biceps, squeeze those inner elbows, drive those sit bones back, press down into the heels. On the inhale, lift up onto the toes, and on the exhale, drop down. Let's do one more inhale, lift. And exhale, drive those heels down. Next inhale, reach and extend that right leg back. You can bend the knee and open up the hip here, and then drive that right knee all the way to the front of your mat, right between the toes. Drop that left knee, flip that back foot, take that right heel, press down through that right heel, squeeze those inner thighs, and come up into a low lunge. Drive the hips forward. Reach and extend those arms to the sky. Deep breath in and exhale. One more deep breath in and exhale. Take both hands down to the mat. Flip that back toe. Press down through that left palm. Reach and extend that right arm to the sky. Drive that left hip towards the midline of the body. Deep breath in. You can wrap that right arm behind the left hip, finding a deeper twist here. One more deep breath. And exhale. reach and extend that right arm, and switching sides. So taking that right palm, pressing it right in front of that right heel, flipping that left heel, and reach and extend that left arm to the sky. As you rotate that left hip back, right hip towards the midline of the body, deep breath in. Reach and extend that left arm. Maybe take your gaze beyond those fingertips. One more deep breath. And exhale. Bring it back into center. Drop that left knee. Slowly drive those hips back as you extend that right leg forward. So here's a great place for blocks here. If you have two, bringing them on either sides. And as you take this half splits, continue to drive the pelvis forward, drive the chest forward, and as you exhale, drive those hips back. Keeping the right foot flexed, right leg actively engaged, drive those hips back. And find a deeper fold, so allow your chest to sink in towards that thigh. Deep breath in and exhale. And next inhale, slowly drive those hips forward. Take those palms, press them into your mat, and you can come all the way to the top of your mat and work through your vinyasa, or just take your right foot back to meet your left and meet back in downward dog. Squeeze those inner elbows. Once again, drive those hips back. Let the head fall between the biceps. Deep breath in and exhale. Next inhale, take that left leg, extend it. You can bend the knees and open up the hip here. And when you're ready, take that left foot all the way to the front of your mat. Drop that right knee. Once again, inhale, low lunge. Reach and extend those arms to the sky. As you drive the hips forward, feel the front side of that right hip open. The right anterior thigh, feel it release. Deep breath in, reach. And as you exhale, take both hands down to your mat, curl that back toe under. Press down into the right palm, reach and extend that left arm to the sky, deep breath in. Rotating that right hip towards the midline of the body. Let's take one more breath here. And slowly rotating your way back, switching sides. So as you switch sides, left palm comes right in front of that left foot. Rotate that back right heel and reach and extend that right arm to the sky. Getting shined in the face with sun, which is not so bad here. Deep breath in, reach and extend that right arm. Rotate that left hip towards the midline of the body. And as you exhale, right hand comes back down to meet your left. Same thing here, so half splits. You can take your block as you drive your hips back, using that block as a little bit of a support, especially if you have tight hamstrings like me. As you exhale, drive the chest in towards the thighs, nose in towards the knees, keeping that left foot nice and flexed. And next breath here, slowly start to shift those hips back. And take that right knee back to meet the left. We're gonna come onto our knees. So tops of the feet flat on the mat. We're just gonna take your palms and place them right at the top of your hips. So right at your low back, you drive right into those little bones, make your hands into fists. So as you inhale, lengthen the spine. And as you exhale, draw your shoulders away from your ears and start to do a mini back bend here as you drive the hips forward. Squeeze your glutes and thighs, opening up the chest. Relax into the shoulders. If you want to take it deeper here, you can take the right hand to the right heel, left hand to left heel. Intake the full expression. Otherwise, keeping your hands right below your fists, a great way to take it the first level. Release your palms, take your knees wide. Let's sit back into child's pose once again. Extend your arms long. Deep breath in and exhale. One more deep breath in and exhale. Next inhale, slowly bring yourself back into tabletop, and then if you're ready, bring yourself back into your last downward dog. Let those heels press into your mat. Inhale, squeeze the inner thighs together, let the head fall between the biceps. Deep breath in and exhale. We're going to slowly shift our way forward into a plank, and you can either drop your knees here or take yourself all the way down nice and slow. As we inhale, we're going to work into a sphinx. So bringing your palms right underneath your shoulders, tops of the feet flat on your mat. As you inhale, lift your chin and chest high. Drive that pelvis down. Open up the chin and chest. Draw those shoulder blades away from the ears. As you press down into the palms, drive those hips into your mat. Deep breath in and exhale. Let's take one more deep breath in and exhale, release. And from here, you can take a push-up and work your way back into a downward dog. We're just going to take pigeon on each side, so I lied about the downward dog. Sorry about that. Press down through your palms, and you're going to reach and extend that right leg back. Right knee comes to the right palm. You're going to take pigeon on the right side. So making sure you have a block nearby. So you're going to use that block to make sure your hips are nice and square. Continue to drive those hips back. So you're making sure your hips are square so that right hip is touching your mat. If not, use a block or a blanket or something to ensure that there's contact. So you can use your block here to bring your arms down to nice big inhale, draw the chin and chest forward, and as you exhale, find your fold. Allowing yourself to breathe, keeping your right foot flexed. Drawing that breath into those areas of tightness and tenderness. Like we mentioned before, we hold a lot of stress and tension in our hips. And just letting the body release each breath, each exhale. Next inhale, slowly start to bring your palms back up to center. Curl that back toe under and work your way back into, I promise, what is the last downward dog. Shift those hips high. Take that left leg, extend it back. Left knee comes to that left palm. Take that left shin across the front of your body. Otherwise, take that heel closer into your pelvis, and you can sink a little bit deeper here if you have tight hamstrings and tight hips. So same thing here, making sure you're nice and stable. So making sure you have support underneath that left hip. So as you inhale, keep that left foot nice and flexed, and as you exhale, come on down to your elbows and let your upper body surrender into the mat. Using your breath to draw into those areas of tightness and tenderness. last breath here. Deep breath in and exhale. Slowly start to walk your palms back into center, and staying in the seated position. We're going to close out the practice seated. So I'm going to start seated on the block. So just bringing that block right underneath my tailbone. I'm going to bring my heels together, knees wide. So this is a great hip opener. We started this way on our back. So bringing those heels as close as you can into your pelvis and seated on a block, you're able to keep a straight spine. So continue here. We'll finish out our practice here today. Bring those toes together, heels together. Let the knees just fall open to the sides. Bringing your palms onto your knees, gently resting, closing your eyes, palms open. We'll close out today's practice with a deep breath in and audible exhale. On the inhale and exhale. I thank you for your practice today. May you go about this day and this week feeling open, giving, feeling that breath and the energy, drawing into those areas of tightness and tenderness, allowing yourself to be free and open to anything that comes your way. The light in me honors the light in all of you. Namaste.